Okay, welcome back. So what we're going to do here on this image is we're going to create a really dramatic side lighting effect using kind of like you would do if you were shooting using a colored gel off to the side of her, so it has a kind of a colored glow on the side. And normally something like that is shot right on location using a colored light gel, but in this case we're going to create the effect right here in Photoshop. So what we need to do first is go to our channels palette. Now I've chosen this image because of the simplicity of the background, because we're going to have to generate an alpha channel mask to generate the effect we're going for here. Now normally if you have a really complex image with a complex background, you will need to mask out your subject that you're going to be doing this effect to, because you're going to need that alpha channel mask in order to generate the effect. So with this image in particular, we're going to toggle through our channels and see which one has the most contrast, and it looks like it's the blue one. So with that, we're going to go ahead and make a duplicate of that channel, and to go and generate our mask, we're going to go to Image Adjustment, Levels, and we're going to take our dark slider here and push it all the way over. You can see already we're starting to get the effect of the mask we're looking for. Now some of these areas I'm not going to be able to get as dark as I need them for the mask. I'm going to push this white area just a little bit so it takes care of that background. But you can see it's also affecting this area inside the subject that we'll take care of after we're done here with levels. So hit OK. And the next thing I want to do is go get my paintbrush here, making sure we have black selected as our foreground color. And we're just going to paint in those areas we weren't able to get with levels. And we'll just do that. Just like that. Now these areas that are near the edge of the background, I really need to get that masked area in, but you can see if I don't have a really steady hand, it's going to be kind of sloppy and the edge isn't as perfect. One quick tip: when you're painting a mask, if you go and you have your paintbrush set to overlay, and once you click in an area and start painting, you can actually go in the white area while you're still painting, and it will not affect it. It will only affect the areas that you initially clicked on in the gray area and turn everything black. And that's the exact opposite with white. If you flip to your white as your foreground and click in a white area and start painting, you can see anything that's gray will go completely white. So that's useful when generating your alpha mask. Now I need to go ahead and, get back into my black tool here. Make my brush, I'm using my bracket tool, make my brush a little smaller, and make our brush back to normal, because I want to paint in some of these white areas right inside there. And we'll just get that area right in there. Okay. Now, because this is going to be an alpha channel mask, as you know, the white area of an alpha channel is your active selection, and the black area is your area that's not selected. And since this is completely reversed, I need to flip this image over. I'm going to hit my Command or Control I to invert it, and there we have our mask. Now, in order to generate the lighting effect we're going to do, here's what we need to do. With my alpha channel mask all made, I need to go ahead and make a duplicate of that alpha channel. And on the duplicate, we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And we want a really big blur on this one. In this case, I've got it set to 15, which actually looks pretty good. So maybe I'll drop that down just a little bit, around 12. Okay. Now, I'm going to activate the other alpha channel and leave the other one on as well, so we can see both alpha channels at the same time, and that's represented by this pinkish color as to what the unselected areas, the black areas of our alpha channels. With the blurred alpha channel selected, I'm going to use my arrow keys. I'm just going to nudge this over. I'll hold down my shift key to increase the increments there. There we have it. And you can see this very light pinkish area. That's going to that's what we're trying to get as our active selection to generate our lighting effect. Now, in order to be able to make that as an alpha channel selection, with both channels, we're going to go to Image, Calculations. And what we're going to do in here, I know this is a very intimidating dialog box, but worry not. We're going to only use a couple of functions here. In the source 1, we really just want to make sure we're on blue copy 2, which is our blurred copy. We'll leave that there. We're going to change the source 2 channel to the blue copy, which is the unblurred alpha channel mask. And the way we want those two channels to interact is through our blending setting. Now in this case we're going to go, now it's off screen here so you can't see it, but down here toward the bottom is a blending mode called Subtract. I'm going to activate that, and that'll take a minute to render out here a second. Now I'm going to move this out of the way here. You can see what's happening here. It's actually taking the one channel and subtracting it, that pink area that we had offset, out of the other alpha channel, generating a completely new channel altogether. And that's what we want. As a result, we want it to make it a new channel. You can either make it a completely new document, or I'll go ahead and activate it as a selection. In this case I want to make it a new channel because I'm going to edit it a little bit more after it's done making that channel. So, new channel, hit OK, and there we have our new channel. Now going back to my black paintbrush tool, I'm going to bracket up, make my brush a little bit bigger. I'm going to go ahead and paint in this area on the side here because we don't need that. That's not going to be affected by the lighting effect we're going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and leave the shoulder area because we may want it to appear as though the light is coming from behind and from the side here. So it'll be a subtle area of light right there on the shoulder. Now, we've got our new alpha channel here. Now to activate it as selection, we're going to hold down my Command or Control key and simply just click on that channel. And now we're going to go back to our original image, go back to our main channels here, going back to the layers palette. You can see there is our active selection. Now we're going to make a new layer, and we're going to go over here to our color picker, and we're going to select the color that's going to be the color of our light that's coming from the side here. And then in this case I'm going to go with kind of a purplish light for the effect there. I hit OK. And there it is in my foreground color. And with that as my foreground color, I'm going to go ahead and hit Alt Backspace or Option Delete to fill the selection into that new layer. And I'm just going to deselect that. Now you can see that active selected area has filled in the color, even a little bit here over on this other shoulder. But it's still a little harsh. It's not quite selling the effect yet. And the way to do that is to go over here to our blending modes. Now, depending on your image, and depending on the background you have, and of course depending on the color lighting you choose, will depend greatly on which blending mode you end up using here. Now in this case I'm going to, let's see what soft light looks like. Now it's really subtle, not quite as dramatic as I was wanting, so let's try hard light. And that's much better. I think I like that. Now it's, even in this blending mode, it's still a little harsh, so we're going to drop that opacity down just a little bit, right around 75. Now that looks pretty good, except up here in the hair area it's probably a tad much. Actually kind of draws your attention there because it's a little saturated up here. So in order to reduce that area, now I could probably just erase it out, but in this case I'm just going to use a layer mask. So I'm going to make a layer mask on that new layer. Go over here and get my gradient tool, make sure we're having black to transparent. And I'm just going to click on the top and just drag down just a little ways, right about there. And you can see that masks out that really harsh area that we had of color going on in there. And there we have it. So there you are. Using alpha channels and calculations, you can generate some really cool, subtle lighting effects right here in Photoshop.